Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be taking you through the errors that we have in Excel. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. So the first error that I'm going to take you through real quick is that one that you're seeing there, which is called the hash error. And this one comes mainly if in case you're dealing with numbers and there's little space to accommodate those numbers, and that error always come up. And to resolve that error, you just need to go to that where my cursor is and double click where you see that plus sign, and the cell will readjust itself, or you can just move it to where you want once you fit the appropriate size that you need. Yes, and you have resolved that error. Another error we have, it's a hash value error, and this one comes mainly because of wrong data type. You're dealing with a calculation but you're bringing in words. How does it look like? We have let's say we're dealing with this minus that, using those cell references. It's a formula, and I put it throughout the whole document. And remember that Excel, whenever it finds an empty cell, takes it as a 0. So having this minus 0, which is that. Now what if there were some words here? What if there are some words there? What would happen? Hash value error is going to come. Why? Because we have a value, and we're dealing with numbers, but you're seeing words there. So how do you resolve this error? You can resolve this error by going to a formula bar or just in that cell and edit where the error is coming from. That's our reference. You're going to say, you're going to put it in sum, the sum function, it alone, and you say equal to. What's going to happen? It's going to ignore that cell. It's going to take it as a 0, and you have resolved, because it's not like, because you may want, depending on that type of document that you are making, it may require you to have a mixture of numbers and words. So this could be proved to be very important to you as you're doing your work. Then the other error we have is hash name error, and this mainly comes because of wrong function or formula. Now we know that the function or formula for adding, we use equal to sum. Now imagine you use add. What's going to happen? Hash name. That computer is trying to communicate to you that you have put a wrong formula. That formula does not exist. So what do? You can resolve this obviously by using the correct function. Sorry, I need to put this references. By using the correct function, and there we are, and there it is. As you can see, our error has disappeared because we have used the correct function. Yes, and our next error that we are going to look at is hash reference. Now, how does the hash reference come about? The hash reference comes about when for example, we have our formula here. We have this times this, that in case that you might have a calculation using a formula here. But what is going to happen? What happens when I delete a certain column that had cell references that were used in my formula? Let's see what's going to happen. As you can see, that error hash reference REF comes up. Why is it coming up? The computer is trying to tell you that some of the references that are used in this function, they don't there's nothing there. Yes, so obviously you can only resolve this by the data that you had removed. Please bring it back and do your deletion so that you can, or you can put something else in those cells that you deleted. So that is hash reference error. Then we are going to be looking at the hash div. The hash div comes about when you divide a number by 0, and we can see it clearly that once I get that divided by that cell reference, we are going to have a certain answer there. Now once I take it throughout, yes, you can see those errors there. Hash div. Why? Remember I told you at the beginning of this video that whenever Excel finds an empty cell and it's used in a function, it treats it as a 0. So it's like we're having 200 divided by 0. It's like we're having 3000 divided by 0. That's an error. Even if you put a 0 there, it will remain there. However, when you put a digit there, look at that, it has changed because it's no longer a 0. So how do you resolve this? You can resolve this that function by using the if error. Going to a formula bar, or you can go here as well. Then you say if error. Use if error. That if at all there is an error in my function, wherever my function is going to be applied, I want that cell to display nothing at all. By nothing, you put nothing in those quotation double quotes, and I'll say enter. Hey, you can see that, right? That it just leaves it as well, because that's the instruction gave it. So it clears your work of that error. Then the other error, which is going to be our last error, it's going to be the hash NA error. And this error comes when you're using VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. Let's have something real quick here about VLOOKUP. Let's use VLOOKUP. That you are going to get these names. We are going to use VLOOKUP to give us a corresponding amount of money that these people are to pay or are to be paid. So I'm going to say those are the people. Then I'm going to put some other name that's not even there. Let's use Trek. So we are going to use VLOOKUP so that it brings up the corresponding amount of money for those people. So we are going to say VLOOKUP. I'm looking for Geldof right there. That's my VLOOKUP value that I'm going to look up from my table. And what's my table? This is my table over here. That's my table. Obviously we have to absolute reference that, so that, because if once you use relative referencing, the references are going to change and they're going to be in big trouble. So you obviously have to absolute reference. So followed by the index. I want it to display whatever is in this column, and I can see the index will be 2. So I'm going to say 2, since whatever I want to display is in column 2, the second column. Then I want it to display the exact match from our table there. And I'm going to say that, I'm going to click there, I'm going to close that bracket, I'll say yes. And as you can see, it has brought off the corresponding amount of money on Geldof. What happens when I copy this formula below? Yes, of course, as you can see, Trek, there is that error on Trek. Why? Because the VLOOKUP has tried to look in our table. There is no Trek there. What does it mean? It means that's an error. How do you solve that error? You can still do the same thing. Click on go to the formula box, and you can use if error as you have used it before, or you can use if NA. If NA is specific to only when you have that error of NA. It's very specific. And what do I want to display this time round? that if whatever person I'm looking for is not there, I want it to tell me that that person does not what? That person does not exist. That person does not exist. And I'm going to close. Look at that. Look at that. It has happened. That it is telling me that Trek doesn't exist in this table. Trek doesn't exist there. So you can either resolve this error. We have used if NA, but you can as well go ahead to use if error. Same thing. Just that if error, you can use it for all the errors to resolve all the errors. But if NA is specific to only the NA error. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please continue to subscribe if this video has been so helpful to you. Don't forget to hit the subscription button for more content. Thank you so much.